Hello warriors! Step into the chaotic world of Anime Raid, where one god tier unit can turn a rookie grind into legendary conquest or leave you struggling through early missions. Picture Bald smashing through mobs with unstoppable punches, while Nail barely scratches the enemy. I'm your shard-hoarding, reroll obsessed captain who's farmed more raids than a newbie in Starter Island, analyzed every skill combo, and still chases Tornado's ultimate rotation like buried treasure. We're ranking every character from S-tier legends to C-tier training tools, loaded with actionable tips, strategic insights, and the ultimate guide to raid dominance. Grab your shards, equip your units, and let's chart a course to Anime Raid glory, because only the strongest control the battlefield. In Anime Raid, your team composition is everything. DPS units deal damage, tanks absorb hits, supports manipulate the flow with stuns, freezes, and buffs. Traits, synergy, and timing maximize effectiveness. S-tier like Bald, Tornado, and Pure White Demon define the late-game meta. C-tier like Nail or Rebel Ninja are learning tools, helping players understand mechanics before climbing higher farm shards from story missions, event banners, and raids. Matchups and trait advantages flip battles. Mastery of these mechanics is key. Let's start with C-tier and climb toward S-tier supremacy. Alright, let's kick things off with C-tier. These units are your entry-level options, useful for learning mechanics but quickly outclassed when real bosses appear. Every combo feels like practice, and the moment a high-level raid hits, they struggle. Perfect for experimenting with rotations, testing traits, and understanding timing. Now, let's talk about Nail. Players pick Nail for early missions and small mob waves. Its single-target attacks work fine against weak enemies, but mid-tier bosses shrug them off. During a Sandora quest, Nail's swings barely scratch mobs while they closed in. Use it to practice timing, positioning, and basic rotation mechanics before upgrading to stronger DPS units. Nail is perfect for learning how to space attacks and manage early raid flow, but won't carry you far. Now, let's talk about Rebel Ninja. This unit provides basic AoE and mobility. It's perfect for harassing enemy packs during story missions, but lacks finishing power for mini-bosses. During early raids, rebels can kite mobs but fail to secure kills. Best used to learn map control, skill rotations, and spacing. Players also benefit from experimenting with combo chains, understanding cooldowns, and seeing how movement affects AoE placements. Now, let's talk about Demon Sister. She offers modest AoE with minor stuns. Useful in early story packs to interrupt enemy skills, but mid-game bosses shrug off her attacks. Great for practicing combo chains, timing, and enemy targeting. Experimenting with her stuns can teach players the importance of setup and coordination in larger fights, even if raw damage is limited. Now, let's talk about Butterfly. Fast attacks and light crowd control make Butterfly useful for clearing early mobs efficiently. Vulnerable in mini-boss fights, it's a unit for understanding wave management, practice with rotations, and timing AoE chains. Players can use Butterfly to learn how mobility interacts with crowd control, especially when juggling multiple targets. Now, let's talk about Qigong Master. Provides slow but wide-reaching AoE attacks. Ideal for learning area coverage, positioning, and early raid patterns. Cannot handle high HP bosses, but teaches spacing, timing, and the importance of resource management. Players can practice setting up combos and measuring enemy reach while developing patience for slow-starting units. Now, let's talk about Noodles Ninja. Balanced mobility and light AoE make it suitable for early story missions and small-scale raids. Limited solo damage, but perfect for learning rotations, spacing, and positioning in chaotic early fights. Noodles Ninja teaches how to juggle multiple skills in succession and how timing affects effectiveness against different mob formations. Next up, B-tier. These are solid mid-game units that carry you through intermediate raids and story missions. They're more reliable than C-tier, but fall short against late-game bosses. Players keep them while preparing for S-tier units. Now, let's talk about Human's strongest weapon. DPS-focused, delivers strong AoE and single-target damage. During Sky Land raids, it clears mobs efficiently but requires precise rotations against mini-bosses. Works best paired with a tank and supportive traits to maintain uptime. Mastery of timing combos and managing skill cooldowns ensures this unit can carry through longer missions efficiently. Now let's talk about Gorgeous Samurai smooth combo chains with moderate damage. Effective against mobs in mid-tier raids, but mini-bosses often survive. Ideal for practicing timing, AoE placement, and rotation synergy with allies. Gorgeous Samurai teaches the value of patience and combo setup, ensuring players understand how skill order impacts damage outputs. Now, let's talk about Shadow Knight's stealthy AoE and mobility. Works well for solo mid-game missions and small-scale raids. Requires careful combo chaining, but teaches advanced positioning and engagement tactics. Shadow Knight's stealth and mobility allow players to experiment with hit-and-run tactics and proper timing for maximizing damage before retreating. Now, let's talk about Straw Hat. Mid-tier tank that absorbs hits and protects allies. Effective in story missions and mid-tier raids but lacks mobility for complex boss mechanics, best paired with high-damage DPS for balanced team synergy. Players can practice positioning to optimize tanking while learning how to manipulate enemy targeting. Now, let's talk about Medical Ninja. Provides healing and buffs. Essential for mid-tier squad stability. Ineffective alone, requires timing and positioning for maximum impact. Players learn the importance of sustain and timing support skills while coordinating with DPS and tank units. Now, let's talk about Genius Scientist offers buffs and minor AoE damage. Useful in coordinated mid-tier raids, but cannot carry without DPS support. Requires precise timing and team synergy. Players can explore stacking buffs and timing AoE to maximize team efficiency. Now, let's climb to A tier. These units are strong, versatile, and capable of carrying players through tougher story missions, raids, and early meta encounters. Players rely on them while planning S tier acquisitions. Now, let's talk about Water Breather Master. DPS unit with strong AoE and smooth combos. Effective in mid to late Skies-Land missions. Pair with support traits to maximize damage. Handles mobs efficiently, but timing remains critical for bosses. Learning proper combo chains with this unit teaches situational awareness and rotation optimization. Now, let's talk about Night King. Delivers high single target damage, excels in mid-tier raid bosses. Missing combo timing reduces efficiency. Works best with support units and buffs for sustained damage. Mastering this unit teaches how to focus fire and optimize burst damage in boss fights. Now, let's talk about Flame Hell Creator. Fire AoE Specialist. Clears mobs quickly and softens bosses for teammates. Visuals are impressive, timing and resource management critical. Players can experiment with chain effects, cooldown rotations, and AoE positioning to dominate mid-tier encounters. Now, let's talk about Glutinous Durable Tank. Absorbs damage and stabilizes squads. Limited mobility. Careful positioning required to protect DPS. Players learn the importance of threat management and holding aggro for the team. Now, let's talk about Carbon Dealers. Frontline tank with minor crowd control. Protects allies and holds mid-tier mobs effectively. Best paired with fast high-damage DPS. Players can practice controlling engagement pacing and absorbing multiple enemy waves. Now, let's talk about Spellcaster. Support unit with buffs, stuns, and minor heals. Can control mid-tier engagements. Requires positioning and precise timing for effectiveness. Players learn how to combine stuns with ally DPS for optimal efficiency. Finally, S tier. These are meta-defining legends. Players chase them for raid domination, story completion, and team supremacy. Mastery guarantees battlefield control. Now, let's talk about Bald. DPS powerhouse with massive AoE and single-target nukes. Late game raids see mobs vanish in seconds. Solo or team play shines, smooth animations, skill mastery required, payoff insane. Players can chain ultimate skills with teammates to control battlefield flow. Now, let's talk about Ichi Mask. Devastating AoE and crowd control. During raids, obliterates mobs while setting up teammates for combos. Timing and rotation mastery. Critical players can coordinate with tanks to lock down enemies while DPS finishes off high-priority targets. Now, let's talk about Strongest Curse High Burst Damage. Ideal for clearing mobs and softening bosses. Works best with tanks for frontlines and supports for buffs. Players learn rotation optimization and cooldown management for maximum efficiency. Now, let's talk about the End of Death. Ultimate single-target nukes. Perfect for boss encounters. Careful cooldown management ensures maximum efficiency. Players can explore single-target prioritization and burst timing for late-game raids. Now, let's talk about Tornado, Tatsumaki. AoE control specialist freezes mobs, interrupts enemy rotations, and enables team DPS. Requires precise timing, but dominates late-game missions. Players learn positioning and ultimate timing for area domination. Now, let's talk about Pure White Demon. Legendary tank. Absorbs multiple boss attacks, stabilizing squads in chaotic raids. ideal for frontlines paired with DPS heavy comps. Players understand how to anchor fights and manage threat across multiple targets. Now, let's talk about Ocean King. Massive tank with AoE crowd control holds mobs for DPS to shine. Best for extended story missions and high-level raids. Players practice multi-wave control and timing mitigation skills. Now, let's talk about Quick Freeze. Support control unit. Freezes waves, interrupts enemy abilities, and enables DPS setups. Timing is critical. Perfectly placed freezes can turn the tide of any raid player's experiment with combo setups and control timing to dominate PvE and PvP scenarios. The battles have settled, but Anime Raid remains alive with strategy and action. Players celebrate as Bald obliterates mobs, Tornado freezes waves, and Pure White Demon anchors the front lines. C-tier units teach early mechanics, B-tier stabilizes mid-game, A-tier carries missions, and S-tier dominates raids, story quests, and high-stakes encounters. Shards are farmed, combos perfected, strategies refined. Players share builds, clears, and optimize synergy between traits, skills, and positioning. Timing, resource management, and rotations dictate raid outcomes. Whether you're chasing shard drops, mastering combos, or coordinating large-scale raids, Anime Raid rewards planning, strategy, and skill. The grind never stops. Raids evolve and updates shift the meta. Legends are forged one unit at a time, and islands remember those who master the strongest heroes. So equip your units wisely, experiment with builds, and embrace both victories and learning moments. The world of Anime Raid awaits, and glory belongs to those who seize it.